Okay, thank you for joining me for a little bit of an autumnal equinox ritual. So, if you haven't seen part one of this, where I talk about the equinox, go and have a look at that. But we're going to do a little bit of a ritual, which I do love to do, and I just felt really called to do this today. It just feels like something that is right. So, this is what I've got ready for my ritual. So I have got 3 candles. You don't need to have 3. You can choose a candle of one of these colors. So you want to have red, black, or purple, or like me, you can use all 3. I do like having that idea of 3, the 3 goddesses, that kind of energy. There's a few things you can have here. I've chosen some seeds that are hopefully ready to grow. So I've got a whole range of different ones in there. And you could have instead some pomegranate itself, if you can get hold of that, because this ritual really connects to Persephone as the queen of the underworld, as the symbol in the Greek mythology of the I suppose autumn equinox, where she's about the descent and the transformation as she goes back down into the underworld at this time. Well, not really, but anyway, at autumn. So basically, the message I want you to think about is, no, we'll come back to that. All right, so we've got candles. We have got seeds, or you can have pomegranate. You could have a nice tea, or even a red wine. Okay, whatever you want with that. So something that is actually going to work as an offering. So be careful of that with the tea and the wine. So, and I've also got here a little bit of soil, all right, to represent the going in, because Persephone is also seen as being the more ancient seed maiden who was all about, going into the depths, but that was to create transformation. All right, so this is our ritual. So we're going to, first of all, bring ourselves into this sacred space, first of all. So this is just breathing into it, just kind of letting everything else go, and just sort of really connect to that sense of balance. That is what the equinox is about. The light and the dark, the yin and the yang, the depths and the light of transformation. So through descent into the darkness of winter, the soil, whatever you want to think about, we are actually allowing ourselves to become recreated and regenerated. All right, so what can we actually learn from that process? And this is symbolizing how we are preparing to step into that energy. So now that we have set ourselves, we've kind of got our intention around this, the first thing we're going to do then is to light our candles. And if you want to, you could do an invocation around the candles. Oh, if I can get this to light. Oh, don't you love it when there we go, they're lit. All right, so for example, the red is like the pomegranate seed preparing to grow as it goes into the darkness. And the purple is that connection to our intuition, to our knowingness, to our willingness to embrace change. All right, so we have our candles burning, and this is, I am prepared for my descent. I am prepared to enter the darkness. I am open to the messages and the change that will come through. Now, we're going to, obviously I'm not going to do it quite yet, but essentially I've got a whole mixture of seeds in my container. These are my offerings to show my gratitude for the harvest that has just passed, and I've had a massive harvest that's come in through spring and summer, that I am so grateful for all of the growth that I've had during that time. And it feels like it is time just to settle into that energy now. So I'm grateful for the lessons that I've had to learn. I'm grateful for the growth that I've had, the transformation that I've had in becoming my evolved and empowered self. And then, to represent that, we are going to add the seeds into the soil. We've got some really little ones in there, so I'll make sure they all go out into the soil, ready to be transformed. And I will actually take them outside after I finish the ceremony, and my final part of the ceremony will actually be planting them into the soil, which, thank goodness, has finally been watered by rain after what feels like an endless amount of time waiting. So that has been perfect. So this is my special offering for the transformation and the support during the dark times that may be ahead. Now, we're going to see if Persephone has a particular message for us. This is the Time Traveler's Oracle that I've just started to be using a little. Let's see what message we might have here. Okay, this feels like the correct one. Okay, this is an interesting one with some of the things that I've been learning about Pele. So hopefully you can see that okay. So at the top we have trust, and then the time in the past is Polynesian voyages in the Pacific Ocean. And, you know, I think this is saying to us, just like those voyages, they had to trust what was happening in nature. I mean, they were out on the ocean with no sign of land, no sense that they really were going to end up somewhere safe. And they trusted the guidance that they received from beyond themselves. And this is really what we need to be focusing on at this time. We need to be trusting that we have guidance from outside of ourselves, and we have guidance from within us. We have our inner wisdom that we're designed to have, that allows us to know what is correct for us, no matter what the season is, even when it feels like it's dark, even when it feels like it's difficult to transform. We can trust that it is happening. We may not see it for a long time. We may feel like we're being crushed by the darkness at times, but if we trust, then we can find our way out of it. Just as Persephone always rises from the underworld into the light, we will also have that happen no matter what the current circumstances are. So let's do a little bit of an invocation, setting our intention. So I honor the descent that is upon me. I embrace the journey that is ahead, and I trust the wisdom that awaits. And then thank you to Persephone and her energy, as we now show that we are ready for the next stage, the next cycle of our life, eventually allowing us to emerge as a more evolved being. And we thank you for that. We thank you for the seeds. We thank you for the darkness. If we could get that to blow out. Oh, still doesn't want to blow out. So obviously we still need to keep a bit of light in the darkness. Hopefully we'll get to that in a minute. And we also thank you for the intuition we hold within us and the messages we receive from without us. Right, and then the smoke is rising out, and I am going to go and plant some seeds out in my garden. So happy equinox to you all.